Noah Charney wrote an article about how most people's fear of flying roots in the fact that they might have to do emergency landing at some point and not be prepared for it. So in the next 4 to 5 minutes, I'm going to explain to you exactly how to go about that. So let's say your pilot just completely is out for some reason. So if you have your engine for whatever reason, all you have to do is call air traffic control and they'll take care of you. You don't need me, you don't need this checklist. You can pretty much just find the nearest airport and they'll tell you exactly how to land. If you don't have your engine, that's what you're going to use this for. A, B, C, D, and E all stand for airspeed, best place to land, checklist, declare, and execute. And execute just means that's landing the plane. So first thing to remember is that planes were meant to fly. It takes an engine to get them up in the air, but after that, you really don't need it for anything else. Most of your plane is based on controls. So the first thing you have is airspeed. Your airspeed indicator is going to be to the left of the dash, and that's going to be on your pilot side. So you'll want to make sure that that gets to about 70 knots. 68 is what us pilots use, but 70 is generally speaking. And what that does is provides you a glide speed. So basically you're going to do this. You're going to hold the yoke really steady. You're not going to move it up or down because that will make you lose altitude and it may cause you harm. So you're going to use the trim wheel, which is right in between you and your pilot's legs. And basically you're going to move it top to bottom, which is going to make your nose go like that. So you're going to glide like that in the air, and it's going to save you a lot of time, and honestly it'll make you feel safer because your plane will be slowed down and you'll pretty much just be gliding. So once you have your airspeed done, you're going to move on to B. That's best place to land. This will most likely be a field or some sort of farm. You don't want power lines, you don't want trees. On your GPS you should be able to see if there's any airports nearby. If there's an airport nearby within 5 or 10 miles, you can call them on the radio immediately and just call out, I'm a passenger, I have to do emergency landing. Now if there's not, you're gonna wanna just find a field because it's easier. I know it sounds crazy, but it is, and it may be over your shoulder so you can look behind you. And once you find it, make sure it's pretty long, and just go ahead and turn towards it. You don't have to fly directly to it, don't push your nose down, just start heading there. Now C is your checklist, which for a pilot this is more lengthy. This was the most important part of this that I learned, but for you all you're going to do is reach over to your pilot side and turn off the master switch. It's red and it says master. Once you flip it off, that'll prevent any risk of an electrical fire and any hazards to do with your engine possibly sparking. D, that's declare. So this basically means you're gonna press on the left side of your yoke, which you've been holding steadily this whole time. You're gonna press your finger down and you're gonna talk on the radio. You're gonna tell them you're a passenger. You're gonna speak out to whoever is listening and just tell them your situation. You're gonna tell them if there's any lakes or rivers nearby, if you know what they are, or you see any towns nearby on the GPS. Any information at this point is really helpful. This doesn't take as long in the plane as it does me talking about it. So far, you've slowed down the plane to 68 knots. You've gotten your place to land and you're flying around it. And you've spoken out about, you turned the master switch off, and you've spoken out that you need help and that someone needs to find you once you land. So this is scary, but it's not if you're prepared. You're gonna come to E, which is execute. That's the landing part. What you're gonna do is you really guide a plane with your feet. That's how you steer it. So your rudders, which are by your feet, make your plane go left or right. And so as you turn, if you need to turn towards, you wanna line up with your makeshift runway. And this is how you're gonna land. You're gonna go towards the ground. Don't push the yoke in too much, but you're just gonna keep gliding all the way to the ground, slowly decreasing your speed. And then once you get pretty close, you can push the nose down a little bit, and then you're just gonna turn the plane so that the back wheels hit. The most important thing to remember is open the doors and open the windows. Before anything else, when you line up, open those so that protects you. When you hit the ground, your cabin won't be crushed in on you and your pilot. So a simpler checklist, going back to that, can be found. Eric Brad Key published one on studentpilotnews.com, and it's basically more for the passenger. So if you need that, you can look at that. This all sounds really scary, but AOPA published the technical version of all of this, and if you were ever put in this situation, it's not scary if you know what you're doing. So airspeed, best place to land, checklist, declare, and execute. And you can always print out the technical pilot version of this on the AOPA website, which stands for Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, and you can keep that in the plane with you or whenever you fly. So best of luck, and hopefully now you'll be prepared if you ever unluckily get in this emergency situation.